Alright, it's PSA time! I've been warning people for weeks up until this, but it's basically time to look at it. Now, the Eververse, as it is a weekly and seasonal sort of thing with event stuff, obviously this is the last week of the events. This is last week to get a hand on any of these Guardian Games items. They will not be back until next year's Guardian Games, any of the things on screen right now, and there is no chance they'll show up in the Bright Store in the future seasons. But another sort of thing, the season is 1 week away from ending, which means all of these items in the seasonal offerings will go away for a little while. Now, you can buy these outright with Bright Dust and Silver, depending on whether or not they're available for either, but these will go away for at least a season before they're reintroduced into engrams and the archives. If you need an example, looking at the archives right now, the resets is going far back as Season of the Splicer, which is 2 seasons ago, with Season Lost being the most recent one, and Season Splicer right before it. So, this stuff, respectively, won't be back until, if they keep this setting, until 2 seasons later, which means we'll have to go through next season, and then another, and we'll be at the next one before any of this stuff is available at all again. They might show up in the Eververse store for Bright Dust, but that's something we can't really chance if we really want something. PSA over. What is available for Bright Dust? Well, there is one unique one that it seems like no one knew existed, and I'll show you right now with this pole position or photo finish shader. Now, it doesn't look great on its own, but that's not really what we're here for. Depending on the armor, you can make it work with an RGB like rainbow glow to it. Now, that is pretty much why the community is flipping out. Pairing these with the Guardian Games armor from this season and even last season is creating some really cool rainbow looking effects. And like I was showing with Season of the Dawn's glowing Saint 14 based armor, any armor that glows can also apply to this. So this is really making waves, and I just checked it too. If you have a weapon like, I don't know, a time lost Fatebringer, actually let me just buy it outright so you can see it. I don't have to show it in that tiny thing. Let's see, photo finish, because why else am I not gonna buy this? But looking here at Fatebringer with photo finish, the RGB does apply to Fatebringer as well. So any guns that glow, any armor that glows, it gets an RGB rainbow glow effect. So this is one of the best shaders they've introduced for effects. Maybe not so much as colors, it's just kind of a grayish steel iron color. But aside from that, in the rest of the Eververse store, last chance for some of this stuff, trophy projection, because why would you want a trophy on your ghost? The power nap multiplayer emote, which is basically you getting a nap from 3 or 2 other people and them just sitting there holding you. And oh god, that looks creepy with the 3 of my own Titans standing there. We have the backstroke shell, which is I think new to this season, which is basically the swimming ghost, which has a little swim cap in the whole deal, but no goggles. Or wait, no, it might actually have goggles. But, you know, backstroke shell. But then, into the Bright Dust store. Going through Flare, we have Cow Ghost Finery, which is not a greatish shader. It's got a nice color brand to it, maybe possibly better for armor than weapons, honestly. Reef Made, something similar, where it looks better on guns. You can make the armor work, but it's really restrictive on how you make it work. Same thing with another well-known one, Welded Brass. It's got a cool glow to it. It's got a nice purple glow to it, but the main shader on its own, it's not that great. It just kind of looks like, obviously, welded brass. So, you know, you have to make do. And then we also have Boreal Char from Season of the Splicer. Not bad looking. It's a nice green, gray, blackish, white look with some white glows to it. You can pull it off definitely depending on your look, but it might be another one better for guns. Into Transmats, one of my favorite ones, the Rasputin Reboot, which is basically Rasputin effects all the way from Wrath of the Warmind, which is one of those shaders that you still see in use today because it was so damn good. As well, Eldritch Effects, where you pop out of a thingy. I always forget if that actually has a name, but you pop out of a spiky little thing. And Cabal Entrance from Season of the Worthy, which has you drop out of a Cabal computer. It's not the Cabal Ball, that's a completely different thing. Now, another brand new emote, which is basically the cheerleader emote that has the pom-poms doing the RGB thing themselves, which is another one of those multiplayer emotes that I think goes forever until you stop it, which it just is an abrupt end. Then the Champion Shell, a trophy which I think is an old one, just because I feel like I remember this one, but it's really hard to say, but I'm pretty sure this was from the first year of Guardian Games. And then another one, the Wedge, which is new to this season. It's a pretty cool looking thing, and before you ask, yes, the photo finish shader does also apply to this stuff. Anything that glows, folks, that gets the RGB, which It's a bit more restrictive with these glows, as they didn't really exactly have many extreme color palettes. You go through the yellows, the blues, the purples, and you go the pinks, the oranges, the grays, but that's pretty much everything. There's not much different from there, aside from brief hues. Then we have Victory's Herald, another ship, which this one was from I want to say year 1, but the color palette makes me want to say year 2. But, you know, it's another ship, but there are better out there. High score, one of the emotes where you basically give somebody a high score, which I think it does change from time to time, but it's basically saying it was a higher score. And a brand new ornament for Vex Mythoclast, a class of its own. Now, this might be a problem personally because it might have the heir apparent effect. If you don't know what that means, basically, when you go to heir apparent on your own or anything in collections, when you inspect heir apparent, well, actually not in collections, but right here, there's a little badge. Year 1, it was the Titans badge because Titans won. Year 2, it was the Hunters badge because they won, and next year, or this year, it's likely going to be the Warlock badge because they're going to win this year. If my Vex Mythoclast ornament changes color depending on who wins, honestly, that's kind of stupid. As much as I know what Bungie is going for with, like, the representation who won, there's the trophy, and you got the class item that glows, or is whatever precious metal they won. So, honestly, if I could just get my Vex Mythoclast to be the color of whatever class I have it on, I prefer that, because I'd rather not have a yellow glowing Mythoclast on my Titan that's mainly black and blood red. It just doesn't fit. But, aside from my gripes, it's still a pretty good looking ornament, although just because of how much Guardian Games Insignia crap is on it, it's hard to say whether or not I'm going to use it over normal orange Vex Mythoclast. And lastly, the Guardian Games projection, which I don't know why they still keep making these new projections. A lot of the ones we have are already something we've used for years, like my Ghost. It's been using Siva for ages. But on that note, this is everything available for Bright Dust. Like I said, some of this will be going away till next year. Some of this will be disappearing until a few seasons from now. And it's going to be a rare chance, depending on what you want, if it will actually show up next season. That being said, my name is Scorpion, and I will see you in the next video.
Stop being concerned, no chances keep on passing us by. We're looking up.